Thank you, Coco.
How are you feeling now, Mrs. Hepplewhite?
I'm fine.
What exactly happened, Mrs. Hepplewhite?
I'm not sure. One minute I was washing the dishes, the next minute I was flat on my back on the kitchen floor. It reminded me of my late husband, George. I think I must have fainted, and that's when I hurt my wrist.
Maybe you was overcome by the fumes from the washing up liquid.
No. Well, who knows? This lack of oxygen to the brain, innit? I fainted once in the slammer. There was this huge bloke in the shower. 6'6" he must have been, covered in black hair from head to foot. Knew he was. I'd never seen him before. I asked him his name, and he said, Turner Brown. And I fainted.
Why did you faint, eh?
I thought he said turn around.
Hey, you'll be all right, Mrs. Hepplewhite. A whole week's rest, Dr. Raghavan said. No work, no stress, no nothing. And you'll be back up on your feet in no time.
Ah, you'll be all right. Oh, I asked him about my piles and all things here. Like 9-inch bloody nails here. I use Preparation H like other people use Swarfiga. Handfuls of the bloody stuff I use. I can hardly sit down without sliding out the chair. He said it was due to anxiety and pressure of work. He said I should relax and smell the roses more. Hey, I asked him what I should do with my Preparation H. Did you know what he told me?
Stick it up your ass?
Aye.
I'm worried about you, Richard. Will you be able to cope without me?
Hey, don't worry, Mrs. Hepplewhite. Me and Charlie can wash the dishes.
And dry 'em.
Aye, and do the hoovering, empty the bag and that. If we can get it out the hoover, like.
Ah, yeah, well, we can eat takeaways. I can always knock up beans on toast. It is the beans that goes on top, innit, Ma'am?
Yes, son.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to worry about, Ma'am. We'll be fine. You just get better. Oh, Black Beauty, I never knew you liked horses, Ma'am.
Oh, yes. I used to ride the horses on my Uncle Lewis's farm when I was a girl. It was on a horse that the idea of becoming an erotic entertainer first began.
Ah, well, let's not go into that now, Ma'am, shall we?
I used to ride bareback along those cobbled roads.
Ma'am, man.
I had my first orgasm on there.
Oh, for God's sake, Ma'am. A woman your age shouldn't be talking about having orgasms, Ma'am.
Why not? I talk about caravan holidays, and I haven't had one of those for 20 years.
I'm going to have a bath and an early night. Just knock on the wall if you want anything, Ma'am.
All right, son.
Good night, Mrs. Hepplewhite. Good night.
Night, boys.
Aye, fair enough. Well, I'll be in touch with my solicitor today, then. No, he's out on bail. Look, I am bitterly disappointed, Fingers. Bitterly, but.
Who's that, Fig?
Fingers Farrell. He gave me a Rolex watch in part exchange for that hat stand made of chicken bones you boys acquired at the farm. And it's not a real Rolex. It's not even a watch by any accepted definition of the term. And now he's refusing to recompense me.
Fingers Farrell. He's no mate of yours, ain't he?
He was. We used to steal comics together up the shop when we were children. He was the only kid who ever came to my birthday parties. We used to play musical chairs. Without any chairs. He was the bloke who taught me how to polish my winkle pickers. I am devastated, boys. Well, he'll find out I am not a man to be crossed.
Maybe he's just hard up, Fig. Maybe he'd pay you if he could, like.
Well, that's no excuse. A deal's a deal, isn't it? Who the hell's this now? Charlie, get the door. If it's somebody we don't know, tell him you got Tourette's disease. And then tell him to piss off. Right. Hoffman, act normal. I'll hide in the kitchen.
Okay.
What is it?
It's a baby, Fig.
A baby?
Why?
What's it doing here?
I don't know. There's a letter, look.
I'm off to Blackpool for a hen party with the girls. You're her father. You look after her. See you when I get back on Sunday. You pinprick.
Pinprick?
Aye.
You're her father? Well, who does she mean, Fig?
Well, it's not me, is it? Not unless that Professor Ray Winston sneaked into my room in the middle of the night and siphoned off some of my vital juices. Hey, are you sure you boys didn't have a bit of how's your father about, I don't know, a year and a bit ago?
No, not with another person, no.
Hey, hang on. Remember you got drunk at that youth club night?
Aye?
You was outside for ages with that girl, remember? Dead sheep, they call her.
Aye, but I never. I tried, but I couldn't get her jeans off over her surgical boot. I kissed her, but you can't have babies from kissing. Can you?
No. Oh,
You, what?
Well, I went up this party, up the estate, and I got drunk, and I fell asleep and woke up, and there was this girl lying near to me on the carpet. I suppose...
Maybe the sperms opt out and crawled across the carpet.
Well...
I don't know, this sex education leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it? You've got to actually do the deed to procreate, man. There's no other way. What do you think she looks like?
Ross Kemp? Aye, a bit, like.
Oh, well, that's settled it then. Ross Kemp is the dad. Don't be daft, man, out of you two, I mean.
Well, she's too pretty to be off ones.
Hang on.
No. Charlie's right. She don't look like neither of you. Her face is too well formed. Do you think the word pinprick might have some significance?
Well, that's definitely not me.
No, mate. Nor at normal room temperature, like, anyway.
Look, I am no one's dad, all right? I'm a free agent, like.
Aye, me and all.
Yeah, what are you going to do, man, boys?
We'll ask your mum.
Oh, aye. We'll ask Mum. What are we going to do, Mum?
Maybe you should phone Sergeant Ball.
No, if this got out, our name would be mud. Getting local girls into trouble is the work of ne'er-do-wells and milkmen, not respectable boys like you. Are you sure it's neither of you?
Well, you can never be totally sure, can you?
Well, she's very pretty. Who's a lovely girl, then? She reminds me of my old friend, Mimi Evans.
You don't think it's hers, do you, Mum?
No, she'll be over 80 by now. She used to be a stripper around the working men's club. She did a balloon act. Men in the audience used to pop the balloons with the lit end of their cigarettes until they got to the last three.
What do they do then?
Pop the other three. Then Mimi would stand on the bar or on someone's table and head thrown back, arms above her head and pose au natural until checking out time.
Pause or what?
Au natural. It's French, son. For bollock naked.
Great.
Mimi Bang Bang, she used to call herself. Mind you, the smoking ban would have ruined her career.
Now, look, all this is very interesting, Mum, but what are we going to do now about this present situation, like?
Well, we'll have to keep Mimi here with us until her mother comes back on Sunday. Then we can sit down and sort things out in private.
Keep her here, but I don't know how to look after a baby, man.
It's easy, just keep her clean and fed. I'll tell you what to do. The boys will help.
Aye, we'll give it a go, like.
Hey, Hoffman had a baby sister. You know a bit about them, don't you, Hoff?
Aye, a bit, like.
Jesus. What the hell's this now?
She's hungry. Was there any milk with her?
No, just some bottles, spare clothes and some nappies.
They're all bottle fed these days. Breast is best.
You won't get any argument here, Mrs. Hepplewhite.
Hey, did you breastfeed Fig, Mrs. Hepplewhite?
No, it wasn't possible.
Why not?
He was born with teeth.
Good God.
Yes. It was very rare, the doctor said, and the dentist. A freak occurrence. Unnatural, they said it was. Grotesque.
Aye, all right, ma'am. We got the picture.
He was like a little beaver with his sharp row of little pointed teeth. He was eating spam sandwiches within a week.
For God's sake, ma'am, we've established I'm a freak of nature. Now let's move on, is it?
You boys, go at the chemist and get some tubs of powdered baby milk. And remember, not a word about Mimi to anyone.
Right.
Hey, and get half a dozen cans of baked beans from Mrs. Coles and all.
All right.
Oh,
Richard, she needs a napkin changed. I'll tell you how.
oh, hell. My neck have gone hard.
There you go.
Thomas Mrs. Coles.
Baby milk.
Aye, it's for,
A rabbit.
A rabbit.
aye. We found it in the garden.
I thought rabbits had grass and carrots.
They do, but this is just a baby rabbit.
2 large tubs. It's a lot, isn't it, for a baby rabbit?
Aye, it's very gutsy. It's always guzzling, like.
How big is it then?
It's quite big for a baby. It's like, 2 foot tall.
It's enormous by any standard.
It's not a mutant, is it?
Well, it might be.
Well, it's very good of you lads to take it in.
Ah, well, it's only a baby, like.
Indeed. You never had children, Mrs. Coles. Is it because of your well-known and oft-stated revulsion at any form of sexual contact?
Funnily enough, no, Sergeant Ball. It was Walter's parents. They made me promise before they'd agreed to us marrying. They wanted to end the family line there with him. And so I agreed.
Walter don't look up to it anyhow.
Oh, he was when he was young. He was effervescing with testosterone. He used to stay awake all night laughing. In the end, I had to have him surgically castrated.
Castrated?
Well, there was talk of a vasectomy, but there was a 12-week waiting list, so...
Yes, but surgically castrate a perfectly healthy man. I mean, what sort of a doctor would do that?
A vet, it was, Sergeant Ball. But he was doing some bones up the farm anyway, so he agreed to slip Walter in at the end.
Oh, God.
Didn't it hurt, Mrs. Coles?
Not me, I didn't know. Walter was sore for a couple of months, but he couldn't wear underpants or... Only kidding. No, the threat alone did the trick. That and of course the chemicals which shrunk his gonads to the size of peas. Wants to procreate anyway. This world is hellish enough without adding to it.
Good point, Mrs. Coles. I saw Fingers Farrell this morning. Poor bloke's in despair. Some sort of business deal gone wrong, apparently.
Oh, well, better be off.
And give Elsie our love. Tell her to get well soon. Oh, and give her this box of OXO cubes from me. She loves to suck them.
Aye, we will.
Tell me, Mrs. Coles, does your Walter still have a testicular sac?
I don't know, Sergeant Ball, but he's got an old duffel bag on top of his wardrobe.
Right. Now, it's not too hot, is it?
I don't know.
Well, test it then, go on.
Oh, yeah, it's too hot.
Ah, well, run it under the cold water to cool it down. The bottle, not your tongue, you big fairy.
Hurry up, man. My arm's killing me.
Sit down with her then.
No, you can't. She goes hysterical when you sit down. Oh, hurry up, man. My sciatica is shooting up and down my spine like 4 bloody lightning it is. Oh, but
Give it to me, Ann.
Look at her, like a little leech. I knew she'd be a greedy little sod.
She's hungry, man.
Yeah. Ah, well, just watch she don't pee over you. She's done it to me twice when I was changing her. She never stops. She must be all low. And these piles are killing me. It's like having the Red Army up my arse.
But maybe Dr. Ragavan was right, Fig. Maybe you ought to chill out a bit more.
Yeah, it's easy for him to say that, but he don't live under the constant pressure I live under.
Sergeant Bull said he saw you make fingers and he's very upset.
Aye, well, he'll be even more upset when I get my lawyers on the case.
Hey, maybe you're overreacting a bit, you fake. I mean, Mr. Farrell wasn't over keen to take that chicken bone hat stand in the first place, was he? What with it being a health risk and him having no hat?
Well, that's no excuse. A deal's a deal, innit? Anyway, there haven't been any cases of anthrax on the British mainland since the 1950s. Not confirmed, like.
That hat stand's a monstrosity, but...
No, it's not. It's a curio, man. Like them bits of bone with boats carved around that you see on the Antiques Roadshow.
I never seen a chicken bone hat stand on the Antiques Roadshow, fake.
Which just goes to show how rare they are. Them blokes from the Antiques Roadshow will be cutting each other's throats to get their hands on one. Anyhow, I never made him buy it, did I?
No, but you let him buy it, and he's your mate.
Ah, well, bugger him.
Uh-oh. She's got wind. Come on, Mimi, burp for Uncle Dwayne. Come on, burpy, burpy. Burpy, burpy. Mimi, don't... You have a fake?
No, not likely.
Fake. Mrs. Hepplewhite. Mrs. Hepplewhite.
Oh, what is it, Hoffman, love?
Mimi won't go to sleep and it's 12:30.
Where is she now?
Charlie's got her downstairs. She won't stop screaming. She's been screaming and pooing and weeing all night.
That's what babies do, love.
Aye, but
Where's Richard?
you've gone to bed to listen to Jean Vincent. He said he can't take it anymore. It's just the two of us now. Charlie's crying, Mrs. Hepplewhite. He's a sensitive lad, he needs his kip.
Make her a bottle.
I can't. They won't stop her anyhow.
Make her a bottle, then put her in with Richard. He's got to do his bit.
Aye, all right. We'll say you said, is it?
Yes.
Right.
Only me. On night duty I am. I saw the light on. Is everything all right?
Yeah, all right, Claude, yeah.
I hear you got a giant rabbit moved in.
Aye, yeah.
Is that his bottle?
Aye.
Can I see him?
No, Claude. He's shy. He's very shy, like.
Or maybe he's self-conscious about his size. Yeah. There was a boy I was in school with who was only 3 foot tall when he was 15. He was sensitive about it. Stumpy, we used to call him. We put him up on the chemistry lab roof and he could never get down.
Right.
Do we eat all our milk?
Aye, look, Claude, I gotta go, because he's hungry.
Oh, all right, I got this for Mrs. Hepplewhite. How Blodwyn blew her chances is called. It's porn, it is. Printed local.
Well, she's sleeping at the moment, Claude, so I'll take her up to her after.
All right. Well, so long then.
Yeah, so long, Claude. So long.
What's that?
It's the rabbit.
Is he all right?
Ah, yeah, he's hungry, he is, Claude. I better go.
All right.
Fig.
I wasn't playing with it, sir. I was only keeping it warm.
You gotta have me for a bit, your mum said.
What?
Me and Charlie are buggered, we gotta sleep.
Hey, hang on, my boys, hang on a minute. Oh, bloody hell. Aye, all right, hang on. Go on, yum.
All right, Delaney?
You ready then?
Aye, all right. Half an hour. Yeah, I'll meet you by the coach stop.
How's Shakira?
I don't know. I haven't seen her since Friday.
But Mum dropped her off at your work.
Dropped her off.
Aye, she goes home.
Not you, she didn't.
Well, you better find her.
I haven't been yet.
Well, where have you been then?
I've been out all weekend with her boys.
Well, you better do something.
All right, I'll look for her. You phone your gran. Right.
You are through to Cumpenall Police Station. If you want to dob in a neighbour, please press 1. If you are being threatened in a pub and are too afraid to leave, press 2. If you are trapped under a vehicle, press 3.
Sergeant Ball.
Terry the Tomcat Knight. How's the milk business?
I haven't got time for that. I've come to report a missing baby.
Do you have a description?
Well, she's a bloody baby, man. You know.
Little arms and legs and that.
Aye, yes. She's my baby, Shakira.
When did you see her last?
I haven't seen her since Friday. Look, apparently her gran was supposed to leave her on my doorstep on Saturday morning for me to look after, because Delaney, the baby's mother, was going on a piss up to Blackpool with her mates.
Well, couldn't you have knocked the door?
No. Well, yes. Her gran didn't hang about. She can't stand me. Oh, Delaney left her with a letter. It was only meant to be a joke. She knew I'd cancel everything to take care of Shakira. She's my lily of the valley, Sergeant Ball.
Don't worry, Terry, we'll find her. I'm thinking about the baby milk, Claude, and the giant rabbit.
What?
Oh, there's a giant shy rabbit just moved in with Richard Hepplewhite.
Oh, well, that's quite interesting, I suppose, but... Oh, my God. You don't think that the giant rabbit took Shakira, do you? Snatched her off the doorstep and hopped away with her?
I think it's highly unlikely, Terry, but I do sense something a bit fishy going on.
Richard Hepplewhite. He's a convicted murderer, man. He's the Anthony Perkins of Cumpenall. I'll kill the bastard.
After him, Claude.
Right, Sarge.
So I phoned my gran after I spoke to you and figured out that she'd left a year at 66 Investiture Crescent by mistake instead of your house, 66 Investiture Boulevard. Well, I came straight here and then Sergeant Ball phoned and said that you were on your way.
Oh, thank God she's safe. Thank you very much.
That's all right, Bert.
The smell of brill cream and Welsh bitter, that takes me back. You don't see many Teds nowadays.
My granddad was a Ted. Oh, he knows you. Phil Farrell, his name is.
Fingers?
Aye. He says you're the best friend he ever had. He's always saying, if only Dickie Hepplewhite were here, he'd know what to do. He thinks the world of you.
So you're Fingers' grandson? And this little one is his great-granddaughter. Oh, no wonder she liked Jean Vincent. Your great-granddad is the best friend I ever had. Salt of the earth he is. Salt of the earth.
How did you choose her name then, love?
Oh, Shakira's an R&B singer, Mrs. Hepplewhite. Well, we were thinking about naming her after where she was conceived, like Brooklyn Beckham. But, well, shop doorway in Port didn't have the same ring to it.
I'd be called car park in Neath, I would.
It would be difficult to pinpoint exactly where Richard was conceived. My late husband George and me used to do it all over the place. He was insatiable, like a bee alighting on a beautiful flower, he used to say.
Oh, there's romantic.
Yes.
Terry's idea of being romantic is to take his socks off before we do it.
Good tip, boys.
Are you two going to get married now then?
Well, he says.
Aye. Yes. I tell you, I was so frightened. We got to have an home for us, Delaney. A proper home. I'll put my Tom and days behind me. I love you, love. You and Shakira. Hey, let's do it. Let's get spliced. What do you say?
I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on earth, Terry the Tomcat Knight. Only joking. Come here, you Uncle Spunk.
It's lovely and quiet, isn't it?
Ah, it's funny. You don't notice quiet, but it's very nice, like. No squealing, nothing.
It's like water. You never notice water when it's there in the tap. But if you're in a desert and it isn't there and you can't have it, it's worth more than gold, more than diamonds.
Oh, God, these hemorrhoids are no better.
Hey, Fig.
Huh?
How come hemorrhoids are not called asteroids?
Good point, son. Good point.
And the boys are back at the same time next week here on BBC One Wales.